Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me as we look over our dearly departed Premier League fixtures for round 15. I'm trying my best to keep up, but Premier League round 15 finished yesterday. Round 16 starts, I think, at 5:30 today, so there may not be time to fit a preview in between those two rounds, or indeed time for you to watch it. So we'll focus on the review show. And it was a very good round for the dearly departed, other than Sheffield United. But hey, that's been the thing. Who are the dearly departed, I hear you ask, if you're new around here? I'm a Championship YouTuber. We decided to keep tabs on the promoted teams. Therefore, this show will cover Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. That's our angle. Don't like it? Stop watching. We do often get fans of other teams a little bit confused as to why we're just focusing on those five. But that's what we do here, and hopefully you guys will keep enjoying it. Someone who does enjoy it is Jay Coyle, who is our fan sponsor. Dearly departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. And we say a big thank you to Jay for his continued support and a happy Christmas. There are our results, and as I said, we don't normally get this many points from our 5 games. What have we got here? A couple of draws and a couple of 8 points from our 5 games. Go the dearly departed. I'll read through all the results. Obviously, the dearly departed with the blue highlight bells to the right. It was Leicester 2, Manchester United 2. Aston Villa 3, Palace 0 is our first. And Fulham 0, Southampton 0 is our second. Arsenal 3, Chelsea 1, Man City 2, Newcastle 0. And then Sheffield United 0, Everton 1. Leeds 1, Burnley 0. West Ham 2, Brighton 2. And then our last game, a point at Anfield for West Brom. Liverpool 1, West Brom 1, with Wolves drawing 1-1 with Spurs in the last Boxing Day. So, like I said, 2 victories, 2 draws and a defeat is decent. You have watched shows where we've got far less points than that across our 5 teams. And there is the first victory. It was Aston Villa 3, Crystal Palace 0. Excellent stuff from Villa, who have now got 10 points in their last 4 games after a bad run. I think it was, we'll look at the results after we do the action, but I think it was 4 defeats in 5 going into that postponement against Newcastle, wasn't it? So, lovely pick-up here from Villa, and a win with 10 men from just before half-time, and they went on and really pressed their advantage home. There is your team for Villa. Martinez in goal, Cash, Mings and Target. No Konza still, but Hauser is starting and scoring in this one. McGinn and Louise, Traore, Grealish and El Ghazi. If you're worried about the lack of Ross Barkley, no need, because El Ghazi and Traore are very productive at the top end there. Ollie Watkins up top. 4. Roy Hodgson's Palace, Gaeta in goal, Ward, Koyate, Dan, Van Aanholt, Schlupp and Eze wide, Milivojevic and MacArthur central, Wilf, Zaha, Christian Benteke up the top. There's the opening goal. You can see Ollie Watkins there on the right-hand side of the shot has already had his shot parried. Gaeta trying to reposition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Palace players, including the keeper, in the 6-yard box. But Bertrand Traore has come in and taken that position and scored goals and got assists over the past couple of games. Here's another one following up Ollie Watkins' first effort there and finishing with the right foot. 1-0 Villa. Here is a story, but how does that sound? Let me tell you a story about Jack and Diane, Wilf and Tyrone. Nearly scans, doesn't it? That's Wilf, Zaha and Tyrone. Mings already on a yellow card, both of them, in fact. And yes, a body check there, stopping a counter-attack from Mings, means a red card for Villa before half-time. And we were doing the Super Stream. I was asked, do you think Villa can hold out? And I was, oh, well, it's Roy Hodgson and, they're difficult to play against. It's going to be tricky now. Well, no, it wasn't. Villa push on really well. Hauser, again, from a Watkins parry. I think, does he hit the bar? I can't quite remember. Hauser heading in there for 2-0. So Watkins sort of assisting both his shots that were parried or off the woodwork in that case. Hauser in for 2-0. And what a goal this was. Watkins laying it back to El Ghazi. First time, and he's going to get 2 pictures here, right-footed. Where's he going to put that? Wow. Postage stamp in off the post in the top corner. El Ghazi continues his excellent form for Villa and scores. Again, I think he's got 4 goals in his last 3 games. Possibly. Got 2, didn't he, in the penalty? Yeah, I think that's about right. I'm sure the comments will tell me if it's not. So Villa coasting there 3-0. Brilliant win. Not quite sure what happened to Palace with 11 against 10. But there you go. 38-62 on the possession. Not normal stats for Villa, but we'll pop the 10 men in as the mitigating factor. But still, my goodness, look at that. 20 shots, 9 on target. 8. Let me repeat that again. 8 big chances. 6 big chances missed. Yes, okay. 2 of those result then in another 2 big chances for the goals, don't they? So kind of doubling up with the parries and the woodwork and all of that. But still, wow, that's fairly impressive, especially when playing 10 against 11 and still on the counter creating chances. Obviously, we all remember that fine win over Liverpool, the crazy 7-2, where they did manage to sit, get high quality counters going. I think it was 6 counter attacks as well. And it looks like they've managed to do 5 counter attack shots and 2 counter attack goals indeed. So Villa playing on the break beautifully in this one. And you can see, as I said, down the side, 10 points from the last 4 games. Pressure mounting a little bit on Roy Hodgson, but we're covering Villa. We'll look at the tables at the end. Impressive stuff. I guess the story in January's been going to be, can they sign Barkley up full time? But playing well, settled team, recruitment working well, results good. All is well at Aston Villa under Dean Smith. And another win, Villa 3, Palace 0. Get your thoughts down there in the comments. Onward. And Leeds respond in the absolute best way to losing 6-2 at Old Trafford by not only winning, but keeping a clean sheet as well. It was Leeds 1, Burnley 0. Look, hopefully here we can rise above a lot of the analysis that sort of came out. It was a bit cringy, some of it, wasn't it? A bit basic. People who hadn't really followed the Leeds story and the pattern of play and how they'd actually managed to get to where they've got to, kind of asking for all of that to be torn up last week. As I say, I think we can get above that. But this is very encouraging and probably a little bit of a 2 fingers up to some people who did, particularly highly paid pundits, make a few silly comments this week about Leeds and the pattern of play and defending and things of that nature. So I think a few people misunderstood a few things about what Bielsa's done, what he's doing, and how he's managed to get them to where they are. And yes, always, your biggest strengths are your biggest weaknesses. So, speaking of weaknesses, no Cooper, no Koch, no Llorente, which means a switch up here from Bielsa. I mean, he likes to do this when he's going against an old-fashioned front 2 anyway. Let's not get into the pedantry and argue about formations. All I will say is SofaScore have come up with 3 rows of 3 with 1 up top, which we have seen from Bielsa before. I didn't watch the game, and it doesn't really matter, does it? They're footballers positioned on a pitch. We get a lot of people arguing this, that and the other. It was Meslier in goal, Phillips, Struijk and Ailing. So how do you solve having no centre-backs? Stick another midfielder in there. So you've got a right-back, a midfielder and a centre-back, making up a sort of a back three with Alioski, Click and Dallas in sort of a deep line midfield. But obviously Alioski and Dallas can get wide and help out with Rafinha and Harrison further forward, Rodrigo and Bamford. Honestly, as I say, don't get too bogged down in it. Leeds attacking plays often see that shape anyway, with Phillips making the play from deep and the fullbacks pushed on. So not too much of any surprise to us who've been following Bielsa for a while. Burnley 4-4, F2, Sean Dyche, Pope, Loughton, Tarkowski, me, Taylor. A couple of ex-Leeds faces in here. Taylor, one of them. Peacock Farrell on the bench, another one up top. Anyway, Peters, Westwood, Brownhill, Benson, who I'm not too familiar with, to be honest. Wood, obviously ex-Leeds top scorer in the Championship as well for Leeds. Ashley Barnes up top with him. Let's have a look at what happened. It was an early goal for Leeds and a slightly less characteristic performance where they held and they got the victory with this early goal. Clear penalty, I think we can all see there. Bamford through. I think we can all see as well, given where Pope's foot is, he's mistimed it. He has made an attempt to play the ball. It's not a pull or a push or anything of that nature. So he was never going to get sent off with the denial of a goal scoring opportunity rules the way they've been tweaked this season. But penalty, and Click not on penalties anymore because the golden boot chasing Pat Bamford fancied this one, sent the keeper the wrong way, slammed it in with the left foot. Lovely goal. I've lost count. Was that 10 for the season for Bamford? Brilliant stuff. Now, oh God, here we go. Controversial decision here. Controversial in that there was some disagreement as to whether it was the correct decision. So, long, straight free kick in. That is... Oh, who even is that? Is that Ben Mee jumping and trying to win the header? There is a Leeds player sandwiched in between there. Illan Meslier has come way off his line, and obviously a lot of talk of Leeds set plays, and he's very keen to stamp his authority on the box rather than sticking back. Maybe that's something that will help Leeds in set plays. And it's not the best bit of play by Meslier. He comes over the top of... It is me, isn't it? Sorry if it's not. And tries to catch the ball. There you can see he's got a huge advantage. Very tall man, and he's jumping and he can use his arms. And he drops it, and then for the referee, the worst possible thing happens because Ashley Barnes spins and volleys it straight into the goal. Obviously, the question is that a foul by me or not? I don't know. Go and debate it in the comments, but try and leave your bias at the door. I think it's one of those where if you're a Leeds fan, you go, oh, okay, good decision. And if you're a Burnley fan, you go, that's never a foul. So I did say leave your bias at the door, so I'll try and leave mine. It's soft, isn't it? I guess the mitigating factor against me is his arms are kind of out, and does that intimate that he's not actually jumping to win the ball, but jumping to try and put Meslier off? That being said, it doesn't matter what he's doing if it's what am I trying to say here? If it's not a foul, it's not a foul. So whether his intentions are to do that or not, I don't know. But a little bit soft. I wouldn't have been surprised to see that let go, and it would have been a big blot on Meslier's copybook. That said, it was given as a foul. I guess the idea is trying to jump in and disrupt the keeper. And if that's the case, then it is a foul. And hey, I'll leave it there. But we've seen them given either way, and I wouldn't have been surprised with either call, would be my conclusion. Again, please comment on that. But remember what I've just said. I've seen them given either way before you have a go at me down there in the comments. Here's a big chance for Jack Harrison. That's going to hit Pat Bamford in the way. It's happened before, hasn't it? I remember, was it QPR possibly? I can't remember who it was against. Bamford in his kind of championship stage where it was get him out the team. He's hapless, but obviously he's banging the goals and in the Premier League, so we'll let that one go, I think. Less big chance for Jay Rodriguez here on the angle, on the half volley. Smacks that one over the top. And Leeds go on to get the victory. And from what I've heard, I didn't watch this one. I've watched the highlights back and listened to some interviews and whatnot about it. A bit of a different performance. Leeds normally win via swashbuckling wave after wave of attacking flow. We love to watch it. Obviously, it's kind of interestingly timed, isn't it, that they did put up this type of performance where they defended a little bit better against the front two and a team who likes to put the ball in the box like Burnley do with Chris Wood on the end of a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, I think it's nicely timed because I do think some of the comments last weekend were a little bit silly in terms of, you know, not particularly understanding what had gone before that performance to then turn around and say you can't play like that. Well, yeah, you can, frankly. There's the numbers. Leeds 51-49 on the possession. The big chance count 3-2 in Leeds' favour. So they held out. They defended well. And they didn't concede any set play goals from a team that's obviously very well equipped to damage you from set play. So I would think Leeds fans would be, well, obviously pleased with the win, but the narrative as well, without being smug if you're a Leeds fan, it's probably quite satisfying that it came so quickly after the 6-2 and all the odd punditry that we received after that. So decent. And if the plan is that Meslier is going to come from his line a little bit more and try and command the box a bit, then that can only be a good thing because they did need to address at least something with the set plays. And you know me, I say 2 points per game at any point in the season is decent. So even with that 6-2 in between, Leeds have 6 points from the last 3 games. And if you're looking at this very pragmatically, take the scoreline and the performance out of it, beating Newcastle and Burnley, and I hate to say this, Leeds fans, because I know you would have loved to have beaten Manchester United, and I'm sure there are plenty of Leeds fans who'll think, well, they'll comfortably stay up anyway this season. They would sacrifice 6 points for 3 in those 3 games and lose to Newcastle and Burnley and beat Manchester United. However, that's a battle for another time for you Leeds fans, I think, and just important to take the points out of Burnley and Newcastle, who, as much as maybe Leeds fans are going to want to be into nice, comfortable mid-table, you need to look after the teams that are just going to be in that third quartile there, and that may well be Burnley and Newcastle come the end of the season. So actually, the last 3 games is very satisfactory when you look at it big picture. Other than conceding 6 goals, you don't want to be doing that. But is it a positive goal difference for the last 6 games? How many have they scored? 5, 7, 8 and conceded 8. There you go. 4-8, conceded 8, 6 points from 3. Can you erase that Old Trafford game from your memory? Probably not. Hey, I wouldn't fancy... Hey, and I've seen Ipswich lose 5-1 at home to Norwich, so I know how you feel, Leeds fans. But excellent stuff. And I think, yeah, look, West Brom next. So if Leeds can go through this run, having beaten all of Newcastle, Burnley and West Brom, that could be a really decisive 4 games of winning 6-pointers over potential rivals in terms of reaching that sort of mid-table position that Leeds fans want. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. It was Leeds 1, Burnley 0. Next up, Fulham 0, Southampton 0. Fulham, it's a 4th draw in a row. So as much as I've been very positive about Fulham, it's still 1 point per game over those 4 games. The trend is upwards. Things look good. They are doing well. But you do need wins, don't you? 1 point per game will keep you up, you would think, 38 this season. So it's good, but they just really could do with a win, couldn't they, in this run, just to affirm their good form, if I'm not being too harsh in saying that. Harsh is a word that gets used a lot. You're being harsh, Ben. Harsh. Areola in goal. Iain, Anderson, Adrabio. Robinson and Reid wide. Bobby Reid. Loftus-Cheek, Harrison Reid and Grissa in midfield. Lookman, Cavaliero up top, although often it's Lookman and Loftus-Cheek supporting Cavaliero. For Southampton, another 4-4-2. McCarthy, Walker-Peters, Bednarek, Stevens, Bertrand. Armstrong, Ward-Prowse, Diallo, Walcott, Adams and Long up top. It's going to end 0-0. Both teams should have scored in this game, though. There is Anguissa. Would you believe that shot's not going to be blocked or saved or hit the post or go wide or over? It's going to miss his kick completely. So big chance there missed for Fulham. A crazy one here as well. Ward-Prowse has taken the free kick. It hits the crossbar. Areola's completely out of the game. Che Adams is thinking, right, I just run in, it's going to bounce, and however it bounces, I'll react and either head it in or half volley it in, whatever I need to do, chest it, get it over the line, and he runs in too fast and the ball spins away from him. So I guess he put that down to a freak bit of misdirection from the bounce. But yeah, when you look at that picture, you think he has to score, just get anything on it and it's a goal, isn't it? But yeah, strange one. There's a chance for Cavaliero, crossed in from the left-hand side. I think Robinson, possibly. I might be putting 2 and 2 together and making 5 there. But I wonder what a marauding, huge Serbian striker would have made of that chance. Cavaliero heads it over. I think possibly Mitrovic may have been a better player to be on the end of that. But at the moment, Scott Parker thinks that Cavaliero's a better player to be in the Fulham team. Here's your VAR one for the day. It's Walcott that's going to ultimately finish that. I think, is that Shane Long running through? And the VAR disallows the goal late into the game. So it ends 0-0. It's a tight game. One big chance apiece. Both missed. I guess the Che Adams one, if he didn't make contact with, doesn't even count as a big chance if he didn't get the shot off. In terms of Fulham, though, look, 10 shots to 3. Southampton had the possession. It's a tight game, isn't it? It looked like Fulham did have the better of the attacking, which is where games are won and lost. And big picture, Southampton are a good side up near the top of the table, aren't they? So this is a good performance. But let me just go back in and to say that the improvement had come, and over those last 6 games, they have scored 7 points. Okay, if you string it out to 6 games, it is decent. You just think in there, and particularly in the games against Newcastle and Brighton, just one victory in one of those games, and this would look very, very different. You can see Burnley coming up soon as well. And when we do the table, we'll analyse this. West Brom, Fulham, Sheffield United to a lesser extent because they're so far back. One of them needs to beat Burnley or Brighton, and none of them are able to do it yet. Southampton are a slightly different kettle of fish in terms of an opponent for Fulham. But that's just my worry that, yes, the improvement is there, but sometimes you'd rather lose a less important game and win a key game in terms of the damage it does to your rivals, as opposed to the points you're going to put on the board, especially when points per game is low down the bottom there. All that being said, Fulham trending in the right direction. I'm not certain they need to do a hell of a lot in January. I'm sure they'll try and do something, but trending in the right direction, but still in need of wins. Get your thoughts in the comments on Fulham 0, Southampton 0. Liverpool 1, West Brom 1, an absolute Big Sam special this one. Incredibly defensive first half. Liverpool taking the lead. But ultimately, Big Sam has gone to Anfield against a really, really good team over the last 3 years. Just a freakishly good team. He's gone there and got a point. What are you going to do? Hey, what are you going to do? We can have our philosophical football style debates, but how many people get a point from Anfield? Not many. Not many at all. There are your teams for... We'll go West Brom first. So Johnston in goal. Furlong, Ajayi, O'Shea and Gibbs in a back four, but they're going to get a lot of help from the midfield shielding in front. Dean Garner and Robinson wide. Phillips, Sawyers, Gallagher in there. So bit of mobility as well in terms of pressing and closing things down with players like Robinson, Phillips and Dean Garner. Well, Gallagher, I guess. Sawyers is more of a sort of sitter, isn't he? But you see the point I'm making. A lot of defensive work done in this one. Carl and Grant up top. Liverpool, star-studded, other than the centre-half positions where they're low on numbers. And you can see Matip is going to be injured in this one as well. Alisson in goal. Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, the brilliant fullbacks. Fabinho and Matip. Wijnaldum, Henderson. Jones keeps playing, doesn't he? And Salah, Firmino, Mane. Brilliant front three. Not brilliant enough, though, to get more than one goal against Big Sam's West Brom. Although, brilliant is a word that you can use for Sadio Mane. It's sort of fizzed into him and he chests it round and you can see volleying that one in there. Ajayi just leaves him, but such a high calibre player that he's able to just create that chance and bang it in before the ball's even hit the ground and Ajayi knows what's even happened. 1-0 there, 12 minutes, and you're wondering how many? Not many. Into the second half, I think we had 17% possession or something for Big Sam in the first half, but look at that for a chance. Carl and Grant should probably be scoring that. We know Alisson's very good in goal and did indeed save Liverpool against Fulham in the previous game. Normally, the forwards then do the business. Alisson bails them out at the back. Not quite in this one. And there is Semi Ajayi climbing above Fabinho. We've covered the Championship. We've seen Ajayi play for Rotherham, play for West Brom. He's so good at attacking set plays, isn't he? And this one loops up, hits the left-hand post of Alisson and then bounces outside of the line and then spins back over the line. But decent climb. And you know the tactic, don't you? Hang in there, set play goal, boof, 1-1. Chance at the end here for Firmino, and it's tipped around the post by Sam Johnston in the goal. And Big Sam was very keen, as we look at the numbers that tell us Liverpool only had 2 shots on target, was very keen to tell us that Johnston didn't have a lot to do. And he's right, isn't he? And I'm sure we'll have lots of debates, and we saw lots of stuff on Twitter going back and forth between this sort of the defeats last week, Bielsa losing 6-2 and having a right good go at it, and Big Sam losing 3-0 last week with the 10 men, it has to be said, and going under, I suppose, 4 goals difference in one game and 3 in the other. But a lot of sort of contrast in the styles. Ultimately, we know this is what Allardyce will do. He wants clean sheets. He wants strong defensive performance. And look, my team was managed by Mick McCarthy for 5 years, so I know all about this type of thing. And if it works, it's great. You're so happy. You know, you're the underdog going into this game. If it doesn't, it can be a bit dour and a bit boring and, a bit soul-destroying sometimes. But what would Bilic have done is my question. And would he have got the point? I don't know. And Allardyce has done it. And it wasn't a lucky away Eshousery performance, was it? It was a dig in, stay in the game, don't concede big chances, which they didn't. Look, 2 big chances, 1 big chance missed. So they limited Liverpool. And as Allardyce said, and as particularly Aston Villa fans will know after the 7-2, with Liverpool, if you can get them early before the counter-press comes in, they're massively open at the back if you can get one or two, preferably runners, and a decent pass out on the transition. Obviously, in order to win those turnovers and transition quickly, West Brom did a hell of a lot of defending, but you can see they were almost sort of good value for it. Obviously, a lot of purists will go, oh, look, 78% possession to 22, 7-7-3 passes. But as I always say, big chances are revealing, 2 big chances apiece. That makes me say that's a good performance by West Brom. It helps when the team you're playing is just going to attack you the whole game, because you can then set yourself up off them. So we'll be interested to see what West Brom do, I don't know, against Burnley or Newcastle or Palace or what have you. Will it be a little bit different there? But you've got to tip your cap there. And just weirdly, looking at the right-hand side there, 2 best results recently have been away at Liverpool and away at Man City. And they've lost to Villa, lost to Newcastle, lost to Palace, and lost to Fulham. So we know what they need to do. Need to win against a rival. But this will do them absolutely no harm whatsoever. And if it builds them the myth of Big Sam and the confidence of him and the players, I'm not sure he needs his confidence building anymore. A fairly bulletproof bloke, seemingly, isn't he? But I have to tip my cap and say a really good point and a viable performance against the big teams. But they've obviously got to win some home games and score some goals against their direct rivals. Get your thoughts in the comments. It was Liverpool 1, West Brom 1. Right, I'm going to try and not let my voice drop this week as we talk about Sheffield United 0, Everton 1, because I always go, oh, Sheffield United 0, Everton 1, Sheffield United lose again. So, obviously exactly the same thing happened and they did lose, sadly, a tight game again. Don't misinterpret me trying to have a different tone as me being flippant about this, but it has been the same story over and again. Chris Wilder's interviews, my bits on our Dearly Departed shows, it's the same thing every time, isn't it? It's a huff and a puff and a tight game and a lack of quality in both boxes and no confidence and another defeat. And that's what it is again here. Everton winning in the 80th minute, 1-0 in this one. What's Wilder going to try this week? Ramsdale in goal, Basham, Egan, Robinson again, Stevens, Baldock, Ampadu, Osborne. So no Fleck. Berger is injured, isn't he? No Norwood starting there. Lundstrom, I don't know, is he hurt? No, he's suspended, isn't he, after the red card? And he's going to try McGoldrick, Brewster and Burke. I would assume the best way to put those 3 out would be McGoldrick dropping off them. Who knows? Burke's a good runner. Brewster's a goal scorer. You need to get him in the box, don't you? But, hey, whatever he's trying isn't working. There's the Everton team there. Pickford, Holgate, Mina, Keane, Godfrey, Doucouré, Davies, Iwobi, Sigurdsson, Gordon. Not familiar with him. Gordon's alive. Calvert-Lewin up the top. Didn't Calvert-Lewin used to play for Sheffield United? Forgive me if I got that wrong. The comments are very unforgiving when I do get stuff wrong. There is Calvert-Lewin. That looks like a really big chance, but he's done well to chest that over and generate the chance on the full volley. Just puts it wide to Ramsdale, who dives to his right. Opened up for him, though. Here's the chance for Sheffield United. That's Ollie Burke, 14, who's just flashed that right across the face. Sometimes you just have to go through the goalkeeper and either deflect it in off them or go through their legs in those positions, because you can see, I think it's Michael Keane coming back on the line to block that. And of course, here it comes. I don't want to dig Chris Basham out, because Basham arriving was amazing, wasn't it? That moment, I was there, but it's a poor header by him back into the danger zone. Doucouré, I think, helps it on, 16. And Sigurdsson, touch. Class. You can see there's pressure on him, but he's off at the angle and he fires that low into the corner to Ramsdale's right. And another game goes begging for Sheffield United. We go through the numbers, but again, it's tight. One big chance apiece. Only 100 passes in it on the possession. 2 shots on target to Blades, 3 to Everton. But again, it's a bit of quality for Everton, bit of a lack of quality for Sheffield United, and they lose yet again. And you can see down the right-hand side there, just horrible run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defeats in a row it was. Got the draw at Brighton, but another defeat there. So 1 point in the last 10 games. Horrible stuff. Had a genuine conversation pertaining, with my friends in my Blue Monday WhatsApp group, Ipswich fans, but football fans, sensible fans. And you start to say, obviously Wilder has been amazing, but you start to say, how much harm is it going to do if they are going to keep him in there, which I would advise that they do, I have to say. Keep him in there, and I think Wilder in the Championship with a Brewster and McBurney front two, and Jaden Bogle in the team, and recycling and rebuilding with a year 1 parachute payment sounds like promotion to me. It always sounds simple on paper, doesn't it? But you just wonder how much harm it's going to do. Norwich obviously had that horrendous run last season, didn't they, in the second half of the season, and they're currently top of the Championship with the same manager. So maybe that's a good rule of thumb, perhaps. Different club, different situation, I know, and I don't know. You could get a pick-up in the second half of the season, and you just start to wonder, though, how much damage, if they do go down with a horribly low total, whether they can come back from it and whether Wilder can. I'd love to see him get the chance, because what he's done there has been sensational. But the question now can reasonably be asked, and again, I'll reiterate, I'm a huge fan and I would have him stay, but the question I'm asking is, what damage is done if it really is the doomsday season of record low points total, which they're on for at the moment? That's the question I'm asking, not should you replace Wilder right now, but how much harm could it do in the long run to his chances of taking them back, were he to be in charge in the Championship next season. That being said, it's another defeat, another tight game. And, well, we'll look at the tables in a sec. Just a horrendous position for the Blades. There is the table. You can see Villa flying the flag for us, up in 7th position, 10 points in the last 4 games. And someone obviously pointed out, because every mistake I ever make gets pointed out in the comments, that I added this up wrong last time. If I add on 6 points, which we always do when teams have games in hand, optimistically, they'd be 2nd. Not 3rd. 2nd. So, yeah, very good for Villa. Leeds in 12th, and in and around with Newcastle and Wolves and West Ham and Southampton, and above Palace there and Arsenal. It's decent, this. Decent for Leeds. They're 20 points from 15. Can they maintain that and stay around 10, 11, 12? That would represent excellent progress. Even a 15th would be fine for Leeds this season. But they're doing a very fine job at the moment. Could do with a couple of centre-backs returning though, couldn't they? And then down at the bottom there, in the bottom 3, we have Fulham, West Brom and Sheffield United. Fulham have improved already. Need wins, don't they? 2 in 15. And they need to beat rivals, Burnley or Brighton. I think they had Burnley coming up, didn't they? Am I right about that? Was it Sheffield United? I can't remember. Someone needs to beat Burnley and Brighton in the bottom 3, don't they? West Brom now have Big Sam, but again, 1 win in 15, and draws will not keep you up, will they? They need some wins too. And Sheffield United, it's just, where's the next point coming from? 2 points in 15. We count this down every week, don't we? I normally add it up wrong, but 23 games to go now, and it starts to get to the point where they would have to be in sort of top 6 or 7 form even to avoid relegation. So yeah, not good, but hey, maybe something will come. Maybe they'll build towards them. And in terms of Wilder, maybe it's better to do it this way round and stink out the first half of the season, improve in the second, and you're all the stronger for the Championship. But we are really now realistically looking at Sheffield United as a Championship side next season once again. Unless the run starts, but it needs to start blooming soon, doesn't it? Right. Again, I'm trying to keep up. That's a show, by the way. I'm trying to keep up. There won't be a time to get a preview in by the time this is all uploaded and done before the next round of Amazon Prime Premier League games happens today. So thank you for keeping tuned in. Thank you to Jay, our fan sponsor, dearly departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us. Get your comments in as ever on all of that stuff. And yeah, Villa Chelsea in, what time is it? 10:25 now. Villa Chelsea in just 7 hours time. And we go again, in the words of Steven Gerrard and every other football player ever. Thank you everybody for watching, and it's over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.